Hello everybody and welcome to a YouTube tutorial video. I don't really make these, so bear with me. It's one of my first times doing this, so I just want to go ahead and get started saying that this is mainly for people who are new to the fandom, but if you would also like to create a new Sona in the fandom, go ahead and give you some little tips and tricks on doing that. I'm going to link a few videos on how to draw the Sona from my friend, and just, you know, in the end of the video. But mainly what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to go over a few tips and tricks of how to make a Sona and basically break it down for you guys so it's easy. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new tab in Clip Studio real quick, and basically as a little writing pad so we can go over the few steps. So give me 1 minute. Alright, so here we are in our new little notepad. So I have 5 steps or 5 criterias in order to make a Sona. So I'll go ahead and I'll label them here. Let me go ahead and switch my color. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what are these criteria? First of all, we're going to have species, and hopefully I spell this right or I'm going to look like an entire dork doing this, but we have species, we have basic designs like body type as well, and like I said, I'll go over these in detail more. We're going to also have colors, abilities, because a few Sonas I've seen out there have different abilities, and I'll go over that again. And then, oops, I'm sorry, name. Okay, so first of all, species. This is what is going to define you. This is going to be your favorite animal, or if you want to be something. So this could range from being a bird, a fox, a wolf, a lion, you know, etc. You know, whatever you want to be, that is going to be what you, I'm sorry, I just hit the mic. That is going to be what you are going to want to be. So, you know, my Sona is a wolf, you know, and I'll go ahead and I'll reopen my little picture. He's a wolf, an orange wolf, slash Shiva slash you know, fox. You know, he's got a little fox DNA because my personal Sona, because this is my Sona that I use on Twitter for a lot of stuff. A lot of people have multiple Sonas, like a personal one, and then their little Twitter Sonas they go on with, like, when they want to go and talk with other furs. But my personal one is a fox, and I can go ahead and I can just go ahead and pull up an image for you. There we go. That's my personal Sona. It's also the image on this channel, which I believe is going to change soon because my name is Giro Fox, but my main Sona is basically a wolf now. So I've changed my Sona and I've used these steps to go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, body type. So what do I mean by body type? Well, this is where you go in and you want to decide 2 things. You want to decide what your body is going to look like. So you want to decide whether your character is going to be fat, skinny, muscular, or athletic. There's different builds, but I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna use those. I'm just gonna abbreviate that one just because, you know, if I have to sit there and write it out, I'll be here all day. But you know, we'll just say that, okay? So yours can be anything. Again, my Sona, we'll go back. He's got more of a muscular build. so he's obviously more muscular. So so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back into our little sheet here. The next criteria for body type is we want to decide whether or not, you know, how tall our Sona is. Do we want, you know, so basically this is going to be a little sub point for height. What height do we want our Sona to be? Do we want him to be short? Do we want him to be tall? Do we want him to be micro? Do we want him to be macro? Do we, you know, stuff like that. And these can change when we get to step 4 with abilities, you know, and I'll describe that a little bit more. But definitely we want to make sure, you know, that what we are doing is we're we personalize our Sona to make it fit you. So if you are short, you do not need to make your Sona short. You can make your Sona tall, or if you're tall, you do not need to make your Sona tall. You can make it short. Again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my character ref sheet for my wolf Sona, Giro, and you can see his height here is 7'10". So because he's, you know, so tall, you know, he basically I chose a different height for him. So he's going to be in the realm of being in between macro and tall. So that's where, you know, that's what I base that off of. Is this is still in the realm of reality, but if it gets to about, like, I don't know, let's say like 9 feet, then it's going to be considered macro. Stuff like that, like 6'5", 6'8", you know, stuff like, you know, stuff that's reasonably sized, you know, that's still tall can be considered tall, but like I'm like in between being macro and tall, just because that's what I want to do. It's basically a creative process. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the next thing. Is we're going to have colors. This is based off of 2 different things. You have base, and I'm going to just write this down as fur/detail, and then you know, markings, and I should go over that in a little bit, and something else, and I'm trying to remember what it is, but basically we can, if I think about it, well, colors can basically go into like clothes and jewelry, you know, and I'm just gonna abbreviate that one too. Come on. I might as well just continue it. I just wrote it out. That's a travesty of how I wrote that out, but yeah, clothes and jewelry, you know, are basically what we need to, you know, are all things that go in the colors, also as well as in details. You know, we can give them clothes, we can give them, you know, whatever. It's basically designing stuff. So basically, and I'll go over these a little bit more in detail just because I want to show you guys a little art piece that I have, and it's right in here. This is Giro, but in his werewolf form. It's one of the most recent sketches I did. It's one of my better ones, so I wanted to show it off here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in his line work. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut this off and go ahead and so you can see that it's very detailed, and I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to shut off a couple of these layers real quick and allow you to see him in his just in his regular glory. But basically, this is his base. This is his base color. This is our first criteria, which is here, which is base. Okay, so our base criteria is this. This is more of like an orangey brown color. You know, as you can see, it's kind of in the orange brownish realm. His details, which is again our next criteria, his fur and detail. when I go back, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. When I go back to his detail, is basically all the other colors on him, which is he's got his little accent furs, which down here in his with like his eyebrows and like the excess fur that he has growing on him is this little brownish type color, you know. If it'll let me, if I can show you guys. But yeah, it's this little brownish color here, like that color, and then his little accent fur is that little tannish color, and you can see that he's got these little markings here that are like his little, that was too big, I'm sorry. It's got his, like, he's got little markings. So that's another one of our criteria, is markings, right there. So, markings, you can see on him, he's got a little diamond on his forehead, which is not in this photo right here. It's missing in this photo, because that was before I had gotten a true design for him done, but as well as these little markings on his wrists. He's got two. He's got these little lines on both of his wrists, and that kind of differentiates the accents of his basically of what he would have looked like if he was just regular, because he could look like different things, but as well as these guys, which I draw on him all the time, which are these little, and I can't show you, so I'll just put an arrow there. These little triangle pieces in his on his nose. It kind of differentiates him from other, you know, orange wolf Shiba types. But with that being said and done, or with all that being said, we move on to our next thing, which is clothes and jewelry. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reopen an image that I showed you earlier, which is this guy, which is this one. You can tell here, you know, stuff like right here, I have like a little ear cuff and a little piercing in his ear here. You can see he's got a little red shirt with a star. You know, it's basically based on Steven Universe, and a little purple jacket. You know, and each color corresponds with each other and is, you know, is nice. You know, it fits in nice with each other. You know, it doesn't really have to. But just for my preference, I like everything to sort of mesh together naturally. Now, this is a really old photo. This one's from probably somewhere about like maybe May of 2020. So this is kind of the quality of my work now. You can definitely see I've gotten like 10 times better. I've used more layers. I use more detail compared to everything now. But so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this guy out because I showed you everything that I could use here. Let's go ahead and let's open another image just to, you know, to show you like a different type of clothing. Like this is an image that I drew of both of my Sonas working out. So you have them in, you know, short gym shorts. You know, they're, you know, with, you know, they're in short gym shorts. Again, going with markings, you can see that I have on my personal Sona, I have this marking here that has, you know, on his wrist. You know, I have double ones on this one. This one has a single one. He's got little markings in his hair, like little kind of like tips on his hair, and then you know, his tail, and as well as on his tail you can see he's got you know, different color fur on his tail. But again, you can see that you know, to make differentiate him from just a regular one. Diamonds, marks, you know, stuff like that. This one, if I were to show you on his character sheet, which I have to go through, which I have it right here. I have it ready. I'll open it up. You can see that he's got a star, again, wristband, you know, or wrist marking, and hair color in the tips. And again, with color, you can see eye color, nose color, hair color 2, fur color, accent fur color, and then like he's got skin color, or you know, on in his ears he's got very short hair, but you can still see his skin color, which is more tannish color. So that being said, that's everything for what I have to say for color. Abilities. So this is an ability, you know, when I say ability, I just mean have fun with it, you know. So my Sona, my personal Sona, has the ability to shapeshift. So that's an ability right there, is shapeshift. So, you know, he has the ability to transform, but he does have limitations, and his limitation is that he can't change his color. So he can shapeshift to look like anybody, but he can't change his colors. And I like working with limitations because it gives, you know, it still gives you the, you know, it doesn't make your character too OP. And that's the thing is you don't want to do, is don't make your character, you know, don't make them OP, or they're not fun. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that down as my criteria. Don't make it OP. So that's one for shapeshift. My other Sona, my wolf one, he has the power to grow. Basically, he can grow taller, but also he can grow, you know, his muscle size, grow muscle bigger. But his limitation on that is he can't lift, you know, or like he doesn't get stronger. So he can get taller and he can get bigger, but he can't get any stronger. So that's what I mean by limitation. So that right there is, you know, something you can think about, have fun with it, but again, don't make them OP. Just don't. So, next thing being said, name. Now, this is going to be one of the hardest things that I can tell you. Naming is the worst ever. And I know I've named several Sonas, and even my Sonas share the same exact name half the time. But if I were to give you one thing of advice, make it meaningful. Meaningful to you. Basic, and I'm going to put 3 lines under you and 2 exclamation points and circle it, because this right here is what you want this to be. This is yours, so you can either name it after a pet, a pet that you have. You can name it after like a gamer tag, if it's meaningful to you. Family, if you have a person that you really like in your family, or like mine came from a game. Nostalgia. I think that's how you spell nostalgia, but basically that's what happened with me. This is what happened with me. My favorite game growing up was Mega Man ZX, and there was a character who went by Giro, and that's why I named myself Giro. And there was one time where I wrote it out and I accidentally spelled it like that, and then that became my name. So that right there is where my name comes from, is basically game nostalgia created my name for me. So if you want, that's how you name it. So again, I would go into drawing your Sonas and everything else in here, but basically this video, it was just to describe how to make your Sona. Basically, I've seen all sorts of things where, I've redone people's Sonas based on like text sheets. My own fiance, when I was making their Sona, theirs was like literally a thing they sent me over Telegram. This is their Sona. Basically, they wanted a skinny blue wolf with a half star that could, that was a half vampire. And as you can see, how I did that was I gave it, jeez, I'm sorry. Sometimes going back through this thing and using the Google thing, I love using Clip Studio better than I like using the Google Pad, but for this video, I do it. But anyway, as I was saying, I gave him a fang. He's a wolf, so he's got that long, flowy, floofy tail, just like mine. Like I said, he's half vampire, so he's got a fang, and again with markings and detail, he's got this little half star that when he fuses with his, he's got another Sona that I'm working on, who's the other half of him, who's also a werewolf, because G's part werewolf. If I were to, that one image that I had that I showed you guys earlier in the video, he was, G's part werewolf, and he, like I said, he's got his own werewolf person that, like, basically the star becomes one. The star becomes full when his characters have the, they can fuse and they have the ability to fuse. So that right there is, again, detail that I'd like to go over. There is one thing that I will go over with you guys in a little bit more detail, and it requires me to open up my character sheet in Clip Studio, because I want to show you guys. As you can see with the color conventions, you can see how his colors look on my character sheet. The one thing that I will say is you can see that this is his nose color right here. Do not make this fully black. For the reason of right here, as you can see his detail, the detail on the nose section. If it was fully black, you would end up losing this detail on his nose, on stuff like his nose, or say you had fur, you end up losing all this detail here. So I would say, like, you can make it like super dark gray, like this, and well, no, you can. I think that's still a little too dark. Let's say about like this. Well, that's probably because I'm drawing over the layer, and I need to actually draw on the color layer. Let's see. I'll try to find that layer. Let's see. So you can definitely make it like super dark, but the closer you get to you know, that dead black, the more detail you end up losing. So like, see, like if I were to zoom out, you know, if I were to just dye this color and kind of just like zoom out a little bit, you would see, now I just realized I did that on 2 different layers, and it's funny. But like, you know, you kind of lose that detail from far away, like you would here, you know, and that's something that I kind of deal with when I do color correction on images. Is I make sure that whenever I work on an image, the color of everything, you can see all the details. So, but that being said, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial video on how to do this. Like I said, I'm going to link a video on how to draw sonas from my friend on YouTube. He's got way more subscribers than I do, but because he released this video a long time ago. But basically, this video is a great, a good tutorial on how his video is a great tutorial on how to draw stuff. I hope this was a good tutorial on how to make your Sona, like if you're having designs, because I basically I broke it up into the easiest criterias ever, and broke it up into how, you know, in what to do, and like I'll try to put this as much on screen as possible for you guys to copy, because I'll let you use this as a base plate for making your stuff. But like I said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. This is actually the second time I made this video because the audio on my microphone screwed up. So hopefully, if you're seeing this video, that means that 100% that it worked this time. And I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. There is one criteria on body type I didn't discuss because it's a little NSFW and I don't want to get banned from YouTube. But you know, as I said before, it's basically body type is you choosing what you want your Sona to look like, and basically feel like, and you know, and basically flow like. So, like I said, I'm gonna end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see some of my art, my Twitter handle is at GIRO_INKS, Giro Inks. That is my SFW one. I do have other stuff. I'm not going to plug that here for reasons, but go ahead and give that a follow if you want to view my art. And I will see you guys hopefully in the next video is going to be more of drawing. I know I haven't made a video in a long time, and I'm sorry about that, but I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video again with more art. Stay frosty, my friends.